Hello, lovely people. Welcome to my virtual couch. Happy Wednesday to you all. Okay, so I am in the office today. I got to make sure that nothing is... Okay. I'm just checking to make sure that nothing is showing where I work. Because as I put in my disclaimer, I love my job and I would love to keep it. Okay. This is season 1, episode 5, F Normal. I didn't take any notes because the show's only 20 minutes. So, and if my sound and lighting is off, I apologize. I don't have my regular equipment, so I'm going to do the best I can. This is going to be a very short review. I only watched it once, so I'm new to reviewing shows, and typically I watch it about twice. But this time I watched it one time, so I'm just going to do the best I can. I'm going to go off of memory. So, we opened the scene with we opened the scene with Paige doing her regular therapy session. And I think this is a coworker that she runs into after the session where the coworker's pregnant and the coworker's like, oh, I was supposed to have a gender reveal and it didn't happen. And, you know, the person broke their leg or something like that. And you could tell this happened to me in real life. You could tell like somebody wants you to volunteer something and it's so awkward. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. And the lady's talking about, I've always wanted this since I got pregnant and blah, blah, blah. So of course, Paige is like, I can host it. And I'm like, girl. She's like, are you sure? I'm like, lady, why are you saying, are you sure? You want her to host it. Like, I don't like when people do that. Just make a direct request. Anyway. And if I'm talking with the list, I'm so sorry. I've got my retainers and that's a story for another day. So now she's like, I've got to host this gender reveal. Boundaries. So let's see what happens. So the next scene, the father is painting his ice cream truck. He's so excited about it. And then Finn is like, you needed social media. So Finn is trying to catch him up to game on doing a business. And nowadays, honestly, if you have a business, social media is the way to go. Like, you cannot have a business and not market yourself. That's something that we are all learning, even myself as a content creator and a YouTuber, gotta utilize social media. Anyway. So Paige and the dad they've got their ice cream, and they're doing a taste testing, right? So Paige brings Malcolm over and she's like, I'd like to reintroduce you to my boyfriend. And so the dad is like, oh, okay. And Malcolm is like, this is not going to interfere with our work together. And I was waiting for Malcolm to say something because I'm like, I've been feeling like it's an ethical issue that you are dating your client's daughter. So Malcolm's like, oh, it's not going to affect our work together. Okay. So then Edwin is like, well, congratulations, Paige. This is the first black guy that you've been with. So Malcolm's like, this is the first black guy that you've been with. So that was a little bit of an awkward exchange. And Paige is like, does anybody have any feelings towards this? And they're like, no, do your thing. Okay, so Edwin and Finn go to the park to sell their ice cream and they're making money. Oh, Finn asks Edwin, do you take Venmo? Of course, Edwin doesn't know what Venmo is. He's like cash only. So you could tell he's making money. He's making a killing. And then this lady, her dog is trapped in the car. And she's like, oh, help me. My dog's trapped in the car. So Edwin takes a block of ice as Finn is recording on Instagram or whatever, going live, right? And smashes the block of ice in the car and rescues the dog. So of course now Edwin is a hometown hero. He is captured on the news and they're like, ex-felon has not been out for so many whatever, rescues the dog. So this obviously makes him look good, right? So all right, now we're doing the gender reveal. And Paige is, of course, nervous because her roof is leaking, but it's leaking very slowly. And the sister's like, the sister helped her with the gender reveal. And the sister's like, are you going to get somebody to fix that? And she's like, oh, Malcolm is going to fix it after the gender reveal. So, of course, Malcolm is I don't see this going well for Malcolm and Paige, and let me tell you why. Malcolm is the type of guy that is very caring and supportive and all this other stuff, right? And I think that Paige likes it for now, but I do think that eventually Paige is going to get bored. People sometimes that have traumatic history like to go for instability. Does that make sense? It's like Malcolm is safe. Malcolm is cool. Malcolm is everything that you wanted with a guy, but she's going to get bored. I just have a feeling. Anyway, so the gender reveal's happening and there's a cannon and that's supposed to go off to reveal the boy. Oh, well, it was a boy. Anyway, so the sister, Paige's sister brings out this cannon, and before even doing the countdown, the cannon goes off and hits the ceiling, and it's a boy, and the father's like, yeah, it's a boy, you know, and then the cannon goes up to her ceiling and flooding situation. But prior to that, the pregnant mom, the lady, goes up to Paige and is like, oh, so Paige, where are you from? And Paige is like, oh, that's kind of complicated. So she spills her whole story. My mom was a prostitute. My dad was a drug addict. And my dad, a drug dealer. My dad just got out of jail, and just diarrhea of the mouth. And so the father to be and the mother to be are both looking at her like, oh, okay. And so Malcolm is like, yeah, Paige has been through a lot. Malcolm is trying to kind of save it, but you can tell Paige is mortified. And you know, there are people that overshare, right? It's in a way to overcompensate. So the more Paige is talking, the worse she's sounding, but that's her truth, right? And she needs to learn how to have a different narrative about her life. Not just like, oh, my dad was a drug dealer and my mom was a prostitute and I was in this foster home and that foster home. Like, she needs not a different narrative, but that shouldn't define who you are. And I think she's trying to discover that. Anyway, so let's go back to Edwin. So Edwin asks the girl out, the girl whose dog got trapped in the car. He asks her out. She's like, oh, I don't go to dinner with strangers, but I can go to lunch. So they go to lunch and they're getting to know each other. And of course, you know what happens next. They go to her house because she's like, oh, you know, you can go to my house. And you know what happens next. Here's a scene that also kind of concerned me. Edwin is hanging out with Fox, his old buddies, right? And they've got a bunch of jewelry on the table. And I'm like, is this jewelry stolen? And so they're like, you know, we could always use the extra help around here. And Edwin thinks about it. He's like, no, I'm good. What I want to be like is, Edwin, why are you going over there? But those are his friends. That's all he knows. And one of the high chances of recidivism is connecting with people you used to do crime with, right? So really Edwin should be hanging out with other people, but it's like, who else is he going to hang out with? That's all he knows, right? So I think Edwin is playing a really dangerous balancing game of thinking he can hang around them and not get into things. And technically he is a felon. So when you get out of, when you're on parole, you can't be hanging out with other felons. And I have a feeling that that's going to get Edwin caught up. But anyway, so he decides to buy one of the jewelry on the table. It was a bracelet that he bought. And I was thinking, when he was on a date with the lady, he was wearing the jewelry. I was like, this is my, now I'm trying to be a producer. But I was like, what would have happened if he was having lunch with the lady and the lady saw the bracelet on his arm and was like, wait a minute, we were robbed like a year ago and that's my, sons, or that's my brothers, and that got stolen. I thought it was going to turn into that, but it didn't. But I just have a feeling like the road that Edwin is going, hanging out with Fox and him, is not going to be a good road. I don't know. I think he needs to change his strategy a little bit. Anyway, So, okay, so what happened? So then Edwin comes home from his lunch date, and so Edwin's face has been blasted all over the news as being a hometown hero, right? So obviously that attracts attention, positive and negative. So he comes home and the garage is open and somebody has stolen his ice cream bike, which is really unfortunate because here he is trying to do good. He's done good by, helping the lady out with the dog, and then somebody comes and steals his ice cream bike. So that is where the episode ends, and I feel really, really bad because and he even showed Paige. He's like, look, this is how much, like, I made a lot of money. And he tried to give Paige some money, and she was like, oh no, I don't want to take the ice cream money. He's like, no, here, take it. So he's, people don't often talk about the difficulties that when people are incarcerated or released that they face. People don't talk about the fact that you need to get a birth certificate, but in order to get a birth certificate, you need your social security card. In order to get your social security card, you need X, Y, and Z. Like, the red tape to getting your life back on track can be very difficult. And when you are not used to technology, when you're not used to navigating, any little thing is a trigger to allow the person to give up, I also want to say, guys, I've been getting some very positive reviews on my Diddy Cassie story. So thank you very much for that. I'm most likely going to release another video about just the fallout. Again, this is so heavy. I have to take my time talking about it. So I might do that in the next few videos. So thank you for all the support. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will talk to you all soon. Bye.